So when measuring the wrist flexion should be normal within 70 degrees. Wrist extension should be also 70 degrees. Flexion will have a firm end feel and extension will have a firm or hard end feel. Ulnar deviation is going to be 30 degrees and that will also be firm. And then radial deviation will be 20 degrees normally and it will be firm or hard end feel. To measure the long wrist flexors, you're going to have the forearm pronated, wrist in neutral, and the MCP, PIP, and DIP are going to be fully extended. And you're going to line it up with the ulnar styloid process, and I'm going to have you extend up. You're going to go along the 5th metacarpal. It should be around 70 degrees. To measure the long wrist extensors, you want to fully stretch them out. So you want an extended elbow, you want a flexed wrist, and a flexed MCP, PIP, and DIP joints. You want to line it up with ulnar styloid process and the 5th metacarpal, and flex as much as you can for me. And this one should also be around 70 degrees. To measure radial and ulnar deviation, you want to line up the stationary arm with the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, the capitate, and the 3rd metacarpal. And then I'm going to ask my patient to ulnar deviate this other way. Measure that. And then to measure radial deviation, I'm going to have them turn the other way. And now I'm going to test the strength of his wrist. So to test wrist extension, I'm going to have you push against me or don't let me push you back. So we're going to hold 5 out of 5. Okay. Like this, and then resist against me. Good. And bend your wrist like this. And don't let me move it like this. Good. And the other way, don't let me push you away. Good. In this video, we're going to pretend that this purple marker is a 1 to 2 pound dumbbell. We're going to be strengthening the wrist. So you're going to do like this. So for wrist flexion, you want to flex the wrist up. And I would, depending on the patient, I would prescribe all of the reps. And depending on if they want endurance, strength, or both, would depend on how many reps I would assign them. And then to strengthen wrist extension, we're going to extend up. And for radial deviation strength, we're going to, over the towel, radially deviate without moving the arm. And then for ulnar deviation strength, we are going to do isokinetic holds into the towel, 30 seconds. So you're going to press as hard as you can into the towel to simulate strengthening ulnar deviation. So when measuring the MCP joint, you're going to make sure that the patient can move it on their own. We'll check their range of motion first. Flexion should be around 100 degrees. Extension should be around 30 degrees. Flexion will have a hard or a firm end feel. Extension will just be firm. And then abduction should be around 30 degrees, and that's also firm. And then abduction is 0 degrees. Abduction. When manual muscle testing the MCP joints, you always want to have them covered. So I'm testing flexion, so I want to resist him and not let him bring his fingers in. So I'm going to pull against you, don't let me pull you in. Okay, good. And then resist against me. So you're gonna push your fingers out against my hand. Okay, good. So when prescribing strength exercises for the MCP joint, you can, for flexion, you can have a partner press up against the joint, and you can do isometric holds that way. And for extension, you can also do isometric holds against the table, pressing as hard as you can into it for a certain amount of time. And then to strengthen abduction, you can put a rubber band around the fingers, and you can abduct for a certain amount of time, and you can adjust the strength of the band and the width and reps to make it harder or easier for the patient. When muscle length testing the lumbricals, palmar interossei, and dorsal interossei, you want to have the forearm midway in between pronation and supination. You want to have the wrist in neutral, and you want the MCP, PIP, and DIP fully flexed. Maybe then. I'm gonna start here. Need to bend out. Yes. Okay. When measuring motion at the PIP joint, which is right here, you are going to see flexion and extension. Flexion will have around 100 degrees, and it will be a hard, soft, or firm end feel. And then extension, right here in this joint, extension should be around 30 degrees, and that will be a firm end feel. When testing the PIP, we're going to be testing this joint, and I want him to press against my fingers on this side, so press against me. Okay, good. And then try to extend your finger against my thumb. Good. When measuring at the PIP joint, it's going to be at the end of your fingers, and flexion should be around 80 degrees of flexion, and that will be a firm end feel, and extension should be 0. That will also be firm. PIP joint of the finger, you want them not to bend their whole finger, and just this part. So don't let me straighten out your finger. Good. Don't let me bend your finger. Good. To work on wrist flexors and the finger flexors, I'm going to have the patient squeeze a weighted ball or a regular ball to flex. And can you roll up for me? Good. This works the finger flexors, the wrist flexors. Another way to work on the wrist and finger flexors is to do towel scrunches to work on the distal joints of the fingers to really work on those flexors. When looking at the thumb CMC joint, you're going to have 4 different motions. You have flexion, extension, abduction. Flexion and extension will be straight, abduction will come out. Flexion should be 15 degrees, and that can be soft or firm end feel. Extension should be 30, and that will be a firm end feel as well. And then abduction will be 70 degrees normal, and that was also firm. And then adduction AD is 0. When testing the CMC joint of the thumb, I'm testing flexion. Can you move your thumb like this for me? Okay, don't let me pull it out. Good. And for extension, don't let me press it in. Good. And for abduction, you're gonna go out like this. Don't let me press your thumb in this way. Good. When looking at the thumb MCP joint, you're gonna look at this joint right here. Flexion should be around 55 degrees and it should be hard or firm. Extension should be 0 and that should be firm and feel. The last joint we're going to be looking at today is the thumb IP joint, which is right here. Flexion should be around 80 degrees with a firm end feel. Extension should be around 20 degrees with a firm end feel as well. When testing the thumb IP joint, it's right here. Don't let me pull your thumb out. Good. Don't let me press your thumb in. Good. So I'm now going to test. When looking at the thumb MCP, flexion should be, extension should be, just delete it.